welcome to a very special episode of Super Reaction Bros. Of course, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And of course, as you can see by the title in today's episode, we are taking a look, predicting who will win at this year's Oscars, Academy Awards 2021, Academy Awards 2021.
However you want to call it.
93rd Academy Awards. So, of course,
for those who usually follow us, and at least pretty much follow, especially our predictions.
For those who've been following us this is our third year doing this. For those who've been following us for the last 3 years, we decided we should do Oscar movie predictions. Like the last 3 years, we don't know how to time these right. Because this will be up hopefully like the day before Oscars.
Hopefully, but normally, anyways, on our and for those who are new, we only go over some of the set main ones that people are looking at. We don't go over every single category, but the main ones that really kind of count. I mean, I'll go down real quick, and then we'll eventually get started.
No, that doesn't mean like all the awards don't count. There's a lot.
No, they don't. At the very end of our reaction here, we'll have, like I said, right now we're going to discuss and talk about the main ones, and then the rest of our picks will be at the end, so you can see, hey, did they pick the same thing I'm going for, or anything like that, at the end of the video.
So, of course, like all the years, we didn't watch everything. We managed to try to squeeze in as much as possible with our busy work schedules as it is. I managed to see 12, 13 films from the Academy Awards.
Yeah, I've seen them almost about the same amount. This is probably a little bit more.
We definitely did make sure though to watch all 10 for Best Picture.
Yes, I finally watched my final one actually today,
which we'll get into a bit later.
But like I said, the ones we're gonna go over and then we'll get going. Like I said, we consider the main ones is visual effects, animated film, cinematography, original screenplay, adapted screenplay, supporting actress, supporting actor, best actor, best actress, best director, and of course, the big one of all, best motion picture.
Alright.
So, we ready for this?
Sure.
Let's dive into this. For the first one, it's for visual effects.
So the nominees are Love and Monsters,
The Midnight Sky,
Mulan, The One and Only Ivan.
The One and Only Ivan,
and Tenet.
Yes.
Now, unlike my brother, I'm actually freshly putting these on my list here. I thought it would be a nice way of like cementing, clarifying on record like what I picked, like what I picked. So visual effects. Neither of us have seen Tenet. That's the
of all these that I have seen, the only one I've seen was Mulan. To be honest, straight with you, that's the only one I have actually seen.
Love and Monsters is surprising to me because I'm like, I saw the visual effects. They're fine. I mean,
well, I guess they were good enough for the Academy Awards.
Midnight Sky. Yeah, I mean,
probably
you have a lot of space footage.
Yeah.
You have a lot of stuff you have to show.
They were dealing with the snow as well, so I'm pretty sure like the landscapes are all digital.
Mulan definitely, because there was a lot of green screen to use for a lot of shots for that film.
Oh yeah, they used a lot of that, especially for the widescreen, shots and for the armies.
It's the one only Ivan, obviously for the work on the animals,
character. Yeah, the animal, the characters and the animals themselves, pretty much. And then, of course, there's Tenet.
Which is a Christopher Nolan film.
Yes,
so that should tell you where he goes. He usually goes above and beyond when it comes to
when it comes to that, he goes above and beyond. And I just think that the visuals, what I've been hearing from everybody's like the visuals are just phenomenal in this film. They're definitely worth the watch to see. And not only that, they help carry kind of the movie, So you have your picks, right? Are you writing them? Are you playing them?
Like I said, that's what I told people. I'm writing them here now.
Oh, okay.
Like I already know what my 2 picks are going to be for Best Picture and Best Director, but like, I still like to talk about.
Yeah.
So,
but like I said though, like you said. I mean, for me, I chose Tenet only because, like I said, the visuals. I've been hearing nothing but phenomenal things. Everybody online was saying the visuals are just fantastic. They're just amazing. And what Christopher Nolan does with his work, he makes sure it stands on top.
So right now, the only one I can see that to possibly beat Tenet is Midnight Sky. But it has to be Tenet. I mean, I haven't seen the film, but knowing Christopher Nolan, he usually goes above and beyond with his visual effects. Yeah. Like, I mean, you swear to God, he probably would, if they had practical effects, he would have won, because he fucking legit put a jumbo jet plane, crash a jumbo jet plane into a fucking hangar. He actually did that. He actually did that. So you went for practical effects as well. But visually, Tenet. It's Nolan film. Yeah. Nolan always goes above and beyond on his visual aspects of his film. If you look at Inception, look at certain scenes in the Batman films, look at his other works as well. Just like Inception, definitely like the scene where you see they're in the dream world.
The world, it's like folding up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, just that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously it's Tenet. What I did this year was I only used 5. All of them were movie based or like they have a solid movie like category, like a subsection pretty much. So all 5 went Tenet.
Yeah,
because it's.
Well, that's what I said. For me, it's like I go off of word of mouth and things like that. Whenever I do a lot of my pickings and stuff like that, I go by word of mouth, like what everybody's saying and everybody's talking about, what's really kind of trending with the certain categories and in any other ones, it's like I do my best to try to really choose which one is which. But like I said, overall for both of us, it's gonna be Tenet.
Tenet, yeah.
Next is my favorite, Best Animated Film.
And the nominees are, if I can find them on the stupid freaking thing.
Far left.
Okay. Onward.
Over the Moon.
A Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon.
Soul.
Wolfwalkers. Now, unfortunately, I've only seen 2 of the 5 films nominated.
I've only seen... Correction. I have not seen Wolfwalkers. I've seen all the other films except for Wolfwalkers.
Look, it's simple. And the sites I went on agree, it's Soul.
Yeah.
Some went maybe Onward, but still Pixar taking home an award.
When I kept reading about the ones that people kept saying were, it's like if Soul had competition in this category, it would have been Wolfwalkers. And he said the only problem was the visuals weren't really as strong enough as what Soul delivered on this film. But I haven't seen Wolfwalkers. Now it's really getting me to push to watch it.
Now, without spoiling anything, what can you tell me about Onward?
Onward. Like I said, I think it was a good film. Visually, it was fantastic. I think the story wasn't too strong. I think it was just a simple, basic, by the book story from Pixar at the time, and it worked. Don't get me wrong, it worked. But not as strong as what Soul delivered and things like that. I mean, that's what I said. Onward was just a simple, basic story. That's about it. It's just a simple story and. And like I said, it's still a great movie. To me, I still enjoy it. I still like watching it. But like I said, it's at least an honor for it to be there at this point.
Yeah.
It's like I forgot is this the first time 2 Pixar films are nominated, or is
this the first time?
This is the first time Pixar.
I believe this is the first time 2 Pixar films are nominated.
Yeah. This is the first time. So for them, this is like It's like, hey, we should still let people know, hey, we are here, not going.
Okay, Over the Moon. What can you tell me about Over the Moon?
Over the Moon was really good.
Because I know when we saw the trailer reaction, which you can check out on this channel.
Yeah.
When we saw the trailer reaction for this, I kind of hated for the fact they spoiled that it was just aliens. The last bit of the trailer spoiled it was aliens.
Yes and no, it's not aliens.
So it is magical elements.
It is magical elements involved and things like that. So like I said, the visuals were done very well.
Well,
I loved it. Story. It was as typical as you're gonna get it. There are certain times when I felt like, okay, it's like you kind of figure what was gonna happen by the end of the film. There wasn't, there was some a couple laughs here and there, or a couple good moments and stuff like that, but. It was good, and it was good for what Netflix delivered and things like that. Because this is the one that was officially on Netflix at the time.
Now I can talk about Shaun the Sheep movie Farmageddon because
I've seen it too as well.
I know you've seen it too, but I have legit notes. That's the other thing I have over here on my laptop is notes for all the movies I had all the Oscar movies I had to check out. Even ones I saw months ago, Soul for example. I actually remember a lot for that. I'm going to be front. I don't think Shaun Sheep movie is going to win.
Oh, no.
But I can see why it was nominated.
No, yeah, you can tell.
I can honestly see why it was nominated. Because watching this movie, sometimes you forget that when Armin is on a roll, they on a really good roll with their stuff. Whereas their vintage stuff, their Walls of Gromit stuff, or more recent stuff. Now, ironically, this is a sequel to a previous Shaun the Sheep film. And this one, me and my dad really enjoyed. It was very heartfelt.
It was very heartfelt, and it was really entertaining, and it was really fun.
And, it's one of those things that Pixar does right, that sometimes not other animations, like lesser animation studios, not do right, is that it appeals to all ages. And that's what this film does. But with its references to other sci-fi stuff, with its little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like adult humor, like the name of the robot, Wall-E robot, is mugging.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And even made you feel for like the antagonist of the film as well. It was just
they really know how to do their work when it comes to storytelling, where they know how to appeal to all the masses, not just a specific field or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, still visually impressive. I believe they still do claymation, right?
That's what you watch the whole time. So
yeah, I mean, and it's just still always impressive.
They still do the stop motion animation.
And even watching this film, you can see why the likes of Laika, for example, are credited with so much impressive films. Though, let's be honest, their last one wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
Story-wise wasn't all that great. But like, you can see why stop motion is still a thing for a lot of people, for like claymation or simple stop motion. It just works so well, and especially when you know how to do it right. And Armin's been in this business for fucking decades now.
So like documentary that's on Netflix. It's an old documentary, but it shows really their process and what they do to keep up with everything.
But yeah, so many great scenes with the film. A lot of great stuff. I can see why it was nominated. I don't think it's going to win, but I can honestly see why it was nominated.
There are times when
it's a solid.
There are times for certain
nomination.
films, especially for animated films, stuff like that, you see why it was nominated. You understand it's just an honor to be there at this point.
Before we get into Soul, I guess we'll talk briefly about Wolfwalkers. I have seen some footage of the film. It does look visually impressive. I will give it that.
Yeah.
But I don't know much else on the film.
I don't know much either. All I know is I read online where a lot of people have stated, if it wasn't for Soul being up there, they think Wolfwalkers would have taken it, because they said Wolfwalkers is as close as you're gonna get. It's just as visually, it's not as appealing to what how Soul or any of these animated films. I think what's really selling it is just the story. But back and then with Soul, you have that combination of the beauty of it and also this story element they have in there where. It's not, for Soul, it's like you really see why. It's like some people are like, yeah, this is really deep.
Are we talking about Soul or still talking about Wolfwalkers?
No, I slowly transitioned over back to now into Soul.
Okay. Go continue. Sorry, dude, you're the Pixar guy.
No, I know that. I'm just stating pretty much what I thought about. Like I said, I haven't seen Wolfwalkers, but from the clips or at least screenshots I've seen from it, it's like the storytelling is what's really kind of carrying it. But visually, a lot of people are like, visually it's all right, but that's about it. That's what they say.
For Soul?
No, I'm talking. Did you not hear me go back to Wolfwalkers?
You went to Wolfwalkers and Soul.
Because you interrupted me because you were wondering why I went back to Soul.
Continue.
But I went back to Wolfwalkers, stating how, like I said, from the screenshots and stuff like that, when I saw for it, like I said, it visually it's good. Don't be wrong, it looks good. But it's like, I guess to what people are saying, it's like, it doesn't really help the story a lot of times. It could have done it different routes. But they said, that's why I read online, is that, if Soul had any competition, Wolfwalkers definitely was one of them. Because a lot of people said they would have chosen
Wolfwalkers. There was a few, honestly, they said it would have been Onward. Some that said, like, small chance of blowing it out of water would have been probably Wolfwalkers.
Yeah.
What I will say about Soul, that's a good transition to that, is that, wait, why am I starting with Pixar? You go. Pixar, you go.
I already talked about enough of what I said. You go ahead and start talking.
I don't have anything else to say about Soul. You usually nail everyone when it comes to Pixar.
Well, I've already said anything about Soul.
Okay, I'll say what I say in my notes, pretty much. I guess they found their footing again. Pixar is another good example of that. I would say, I guess you can say the same thing about Onward as well. It's another solid footing. They feel like they're right back on track. I mean, we will only see a little bit of their next film, Luca, but that looks to be on the same path as well.
Yeah.
Then let's see. I got amazing performances from Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. You got obviously, and we'll talk about this more when we get into like the best original score and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But amazing music from. Well, one of the people is Trent Reznor. When first thing you think of Trent Reznor is anything to do with EDM or DJ stuff, just like all that. And he's just made a name for himself doing completely out of the box stuff people are not expecting from him.
Oh yeah.
And this is another one of them. Like I had to save on SoundCloud the cover they did for a really good song. I forget the name of it. It was really well done. Of course, visually impressive. Like if anime could have a best cinematography category, Soul will win here as well. Because the visuals, like when he was thinking about his life living in New York, for example, some amazing fucking visuals there of New York. The detail put into every single stream. Stuff they don't even look at or touch or go in the background.
It's the type of thing where if you look at when the last Toy Story movie came out at the time, and a lot of people are like comparing the differences from their very first film to now of how much Pixar has evolved. They're like, it's just mind blowing. It's just like apples and oranges when it comes to like looking from their first film all the way to where they're at now. You're just like, they've come a long way, and like I said, they're showing that it's like we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. And like I said, besides Onward, Soul really delivers on the storytelling aspect of it. So.
Considering I've only seen 2 out of 5, my obvious choice is going to be Soul.
And that is my choice as well, too. Soul.
Yeah, see, the difference is you can solidly say, Soul. Me, I can say, Soul's better than Shaun the Sheep, and my pen's not working.
And now we're on to Best Cinematography. Far right.
Yes. So, explain to everybody once again what's cinematography.
Cinematography is mainly just the shots we get delivered. You know, when how they're moving the camera, how it's being positioned, and how they're using the camera in certain angles or certain shots and things like that. That's what it's kind of trying to deliver.
Okay, so
that's what cinematography is.
So the nominees are
Mank,
Judas and the Black Messiah,
The Trial of the Chicago 7,
News of the World,
Nomadland.
So I guess I can start with this.
You can start off. Go ahead.
Because that's one of my positives on my notes. Is that holy shit, the visuals in this. I wish I could have watched it. I have a 4K TV. I wish I could have watched this shit in 4K. Like, holy shit, the visuals in this are amazing. The cinematography is really well done.
In all these films? Which you haven't mentioned which one you're
Okay, so I said Nomadland.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
just reiterating.
Like the only one I have. Okay, so all of them on here. The only one I haven't seen, I didn't get this chance to see was News of the World.
Same here. That's the only one I did not get to see. News of the World.
But Nomadland has a lot of great impressive shots. Whether it's her traveling across the country, whether it's just simple visuals of her looking at the landscape, or just like showing how she's living.
Yeah.
How she's currently living to her everyday life, and like at when her job at Amazon, to just overall enjoying like what life has to give. Just a lot of great shots throughout the entire film.
Exactly.
Really well done overall. Nomadland I think was unanimous on the 5 websites I had looked at. Or unanimous with Nomadland, but Trial of Chicago 7. Oh yeah. If anything, just I love the combination of visuals they use for the actual real life footage, what happened during the riots, the use of just the shots of Chicago overall.
Yeah, what I really like is the way they were able to move the camera through the crowds, give me the feel as if you're a part of this riot and everything that was going down. And there's certain shots they did were really great, and they were fantastic, especially the shots they had in the courtroom, because there were times when the shots in the courtroom felt like you were sitting there with the, watching this trial along with the jury and stuff like that. And they had some great shots.
Mank, I'm gonna bring this up again every time Mank is nominated, but of course, what's unique about Mank is that it did modern day versions of old school film styles. So like in this film's case, it got some inspirations from the original Citizen Kane for some of its cinematography.
They decided on this. It's like they decided to go old school. They wanted to make it really feel like that this film was if they would have filmed this film back in the day, it still looked like something like this, similar, as close as they could make it, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's how it really felt. Even when I was watching, it really felt like that type of like, wow, okay, man, it really feels like you had the black and white type of, especially like the lines on the camera or something like that, or like whenever you see like a transition or something like that, and you see like the black spots sometimes pop up. Because I remember you told me, you're like, dude, it really feels like you're watching like an old film, pretty much.
Yeah. So next, Judas and the Black Messiah. What's great about that one is that they really do show in the most notable scenes is show during Hampton's speeches.
Oh yeah.
How powerful his words are to the people.
The way the cameras were set up, the way they were really making it feel like that power he had, like trying to tell
in the I Am a Revolutionary speech, like when the FBI agent is staring down Bill, pretty much. That scene alone, where just they don't show anybody else looking at each other. They show them two looking throughout the crowd, and it's such a powerful scene there.
Oh yeah,
showing how dedicated really is to this, and how much is an act to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of great shots there overall. It's like the good snarky scene is when they're the riots. Oh, not the riots. When the police are taking on the Black Panther in their headquarters and stuff like that.
Exactly.
That was really well done as also. Let me see.
Like I said, we haven't seen News of the World.
So we don't have anything to say about News of the World.
We didn't get to really watch it whatsoever. It's on my list to eventually watch. I have it, but I'll watch at some point. But
yeah. So
what did you choose for
Nomadland? I think from the get-go.
What's your reason?
Okay. You can clock back to 10 seconds ago, like a couple minutes ago.
Well, that's why basically, each one.
But basically, No Man's Land, it's basically because of because of the shots when she's driving around. Like, those are some amazing visuals overall, some great work for the most part. And
and I have to agree. What I like is that. What I liked about it is that it did very little with the camera, but it said enough for the visuals. That's what it was. The way they used the cinematography in this was just fantastic. They literally just really, showed it. It's like, yeah, it's landscapes, but they did it in a way where it's like you really see or you feel, what she's going through, or just those moments where you really feel like, is this a documentary or is it not a documentary? There are times when it feels like one, but it's not. It's just telling the story, telling these lives of these people, and the visual shots that they do that, it's with very little camera work, but it explains so much. A picture was worth 1,000 words, and that's kind of what this cinematography does in No Man's Land, where it's like, just those certain moments really explains everything that's going on in this scene or in that moment. And I think that's why this definitely deserves that win big time, because it was just the way it used it. The landscapes are just very beautiful and just very reliable. And definitely that's why it's my pick as well for it. It's No Man's Land.
Yeah.
But that was our pick, though. Pretty much overall, that was pretty much No Man's Land. So far, we've been on the same page here. Haven't had that split just yet.
So
maybe along the way
we may have it for this next one as Best Original Screenplay.
Yes, Best Original.
Yeah. So nominees, of course, are
Judas and the Black Messiah,
Minari,
Promising Young Woman,
Sound of Metal,
The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Now I'm going to look at my votes. And get your thoughts on one of the ones.
Well, let's start with the top one, pretty much. Well, let's go over them in a way. We liked Judas and the Black Messiah was really cool and was really different because, even though it was based on kind of like actual events, it's pretty much going off of word of mouth, which makes it making it kind of original in a way, but it is slightly adapted, kind of off of something. So I do see why it was like it's at least got the honor of being nominated, because it is kind of original because it's going off. It's like going. The way they describe the story is kind of like saying that, you know, it would have gone like this, or this is what happened.
Basically, what you're basically saying is it's our own interpretation of the tale.
Yeah, their own interpretation going off of what the main guy, the main character we're kind of following in a way, his, you know, where he went. But what I also like is that it's like we're also following Hampton's story as well. It's like we're looking at two sides of the coin here of like what their lives are dealing with and what they're going with and everything else. But I see why it was nominated, and like you said, it's definitely up there.
Minari. I know everybody loves Minari. It's one of the top. It's even one of the top contenders for Best Picture.
Yeah, it's up there.
But I don't see it. No, it's not a bad film. I want to reiterate that.
It's not a bad film. What I like is that it's really kind of explaining just that American dream that everybody has, you know, especially coming out of country or just, you know, that foreigner or anything like that is coming out of, you know, just trying to live that American dream. That's what it's trying to do.
It is a solid story about trying to live that American dream.
Yeah.
Living that dream of trying to start up your own. You're sacrificing so much, whether it's your relationship with your family, with your loved ones, with your
trying
family.
Your best to try to, you know, just, you know, get off your feet, or at least get it going somewhere, you know.
And sacrificing you're willing to make as well as the other person's willing to make to try to do all of that, and the sacrifices everybody else has.
And again, and like we said, the you know, we're not hating on Minari whatsoever. It is a great film, and we definitely suggest to watch it. It's just that for, you know, at least it's being honored, at least being nominated for original screenplay, only because it's a unique one to say the least, you know, for it.
The problem I have with it is that it's a story I've seen before in other films. Now, better films, just other films in general, and it's not one of those things that the story is bad. I think the story is very well told, very well done, very well emphasized throughout about what this Korean family is going through in the middle of Arkansas, of all places.
Oh yeah.
But for me, I just don't see like the almighty praise for it.
Yeah.
Like
or at least in that field.
I don't know. I just don't see it. I think it's good, but I just don't see like. Promising Young Woman. We both just finished watching that.
I watched it myself today.
So best because this is apparently the lead to win is Promising Young Woman. And you can see why, because it's obviously a story about somebody getting revenge on date rapers.
Yeah,
is like definitely gonna have to be.
But what's unique on it is really just the way they put the story together, because it's nothing that you don't think, you know, it's like it's gonna go one way, but it's gonna go this other way, you know, because it's like I went in thinking, okay, it's gonna be this type of movie, and it's like, wow, what am I watching here? What's going on here? What's happening? You know, because it's like it takes a turn all of a sudden. You're just like, time out, wait a minute, yeah, hold on. And like my brother told me, because he watched it first ahead of me, and the only warning he gave me at the time was that he just kept telling me, go along with it. That's all you can do. And that's what this story is. It's like you have to go along for the ride. You're along for the ride and her journey of like what she's going through.
So the story itself is very well done. I'm not surprised it's being a lot of praise. It's such a solid story about revenge. It's such a unique story about revenge. I even put up in our Stardust review, and my Stardust review for it, a description on it is that it's such a unique way, because a lot of revenge films nowadays are the same stuff. Even ones female-led ones are the same type. Just Liam Neeson, Angelina Jolie style badass getting revenge on blood, guts, all that shit. It's like some people forget some really good revenge films don't need that. Some really good revenge films are all about the undertones, what it requires to get that revenge, and that's what this film is about.
In a way, it's like the build up. You know, you're seeing this slowly build up at a good pace, and if it has a good pace for a revenge of a film, you know, whether it has a lot of action or whichever, it's like what is the end result going to turn out to be? And this has a great end result either which way.
Because from beginning to end, you fully understand where the story is. From the beginning, you know, even if you don't know, like, seen the trailer for something, you know what the plot is. You know what she's doing. and it's told so well and so cleverly that like if I had one nitpick, it would be like, okay, she's taking out over 40 as motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Did all she do really give him a stern talking to, or was there more to all?
Yeah, it's like you don't really. I think it's
that's my only nitpick, but like it's told so well. It clarifies how long she's been doing this. It shows why she's so. It gives every reason why you should be rooting for her, no matter what. Like every moment, every time she wants to get revenge on somebody, you go get him.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you go get the girl. Like just amazing.
Especially when she clicks back out to reality after, and then and stops them in their track, and it scares the living crap out of them. So, but
and what's great too is this is one of those times where I didn't mind where it wound up by the end, because I'm sitting in the end going, okay, so, and then by the end of it, when it happened, I'm like, okay, it's great, because the whole point of the story is it's not about her, it's about what her mission is.
Yeah, her main goal and mission is.
What her mission is. And that becomes very apparent by like halfway. By like the time she starts going after the people who legit did something to her, you know what her mission, you know what she's about, you know what her mission is now, what part of her mission's always been. And even after events of the end of this film, she's able to get that revenge. She's able to, in a way, move on peacefully.
Yeah, in a way. Next one, because we took that very much longer on that one. Sound of Metal.
Fuck. If I had to choose, if I had to go off track, because I'm most likely going to choose Promising Young Woman, because that's everybody's choosing too. If I had to go off track, I think this one would be like my shot in the dark with Sound of Metal. Because, good lord, what I love about the story the most is that emphasize that addiction could come from anywhere or anybody.
From anything as well.
Anyone at any time. And we think, of course, us as society think drugs.
Yeah, all that type of
drugs, alcohol, gaming addictions,
yeah.
Collector's addiction. Like, I say collector's addiction, I mean collector's addictions. Stuff
but
like that.
But I know that. But still, either which way. It's like this shows that other side of there's more than just drugs for addictions. There's actually different types of addictions, and here it really breaks it down. Even though this guy is literally, he's losing and almost lost his hearing. It's like even the what's really interesting is when he goes to the place he goes to for help. Even the counselor, the main guy who runs the place, sees that you have an addiction. Whether you see it or not, you have an addiction. It may not be drugs, may not be this, but you have an addiction. And it's like you see that story up to that point where he finally realizes. And
he goes through everything, all the signs of like addiction. He goes through even like the stages of grief as well. Yeah. Where by the end of it, he
finally understands.
He goes into acceptance.
He finally accepts to where he's at, what he is, and where his life is now.
Yeah, and it's done. The story is done very well of explaining just, sound is as much an addiction as any other major ones we always like talking about.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And it's very well done and spoken throughout overall. Original screenplay. Now, I think the Trial of Chicago 7 goes with Judas. This is somebody's interpretation of the true story. That's why it's instead just an original screenplay instead. Yeah. Now, Trial of Chicago 7. Look, it's simple. If you've seen any of Aaron Sorkin's work, that's basically what we're getting here. Because this was written by him. Yeah. Was like he's done West Wing. He's done a lot of big not only
The Social Network.
The Social Network, which is actually one of my favorite films from him. The Social Network. I thought that was very well done. And so you know what you're getting with the Aaron Sorkin film, and he was a perfect person to tell this story of the Chicago 7. Yeah. Whether it was showing how badly treated George Steele was. To how mistreated the Chicago 7 were in their actions and what they did,
and how shitty the judge they had was as well.
That's what I was getting to next, is how political this all really was, and that's why I thought it was such a smart move of having Aaron Sorkin do this story, because
he knows how to tell this.
He knows how to delve into politics without taking a side. Yeah. Instead, he just tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, he tells you both sides of looking at both sides of the coins where it's like you could take one side or you could take the other.
And in this side, of course, you're going to take the side of Chicago 7, but they also heavily, what I love about the story is they also heavily emphasize why this trial matters so much to the government itself.
Yeah.
As well. Because, like, from the beginning to the end, you are on these 8 people's side, including George Young. You're on these people's side, no matter what.
Yeah, and
but it really does make
and there are times too, like I said, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, where he brings up doubts. He the way they level it.
That's why I like, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt is an antagonist. So close we get to an antagonist is Frank Langella's character as the judge.
Yeah.
But not even Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the antagonist at all, which I thought was great. It's not one of those stories where like. And
that's why everyone's so good sores at is in this.
Yeah, the defense attorneys are the bad guys. No, they're just even Joseph Gordon-Levitt tells them in the scene where he encounters 2 of them near a museum.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I'm just doing my job.
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
And he even shows that at the end where he Ed Redmayne's character starts reading off the 5,000 people lost in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He stands up because regardless of who he's defending, he still believes.
He still has his beliefs. And
he still has his moral compass.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, that's how come like I think the top 2 movies that were like really not close, but 2 movies. The 2 films that were really close for a lot of people that said that even though there was one more prominent than the other was Promising Young Woman and The Trial of Chicago 7, because the way both the stories are told and things.
Yeah, I would say top 3 most likely going to win are definitely Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and Trial of Chicago 7. Yeah. But I already know what your pick is because I glanced over. I'm going to choose Promising Young Woman as well because that's the one to win. Apparently, is Promising
Young Woman is my choice, and I know that's what his choice is as well.
I mean, if I had to choose Solid, like I said before, if I had to choose Solid second, it would definitely be Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
Because that was a very well done story, told well. But
it was very done well.
Hopefully, we get to a split sooner or later. I think
at some point.
I think there's a couple we're definitely going to split on.
Yeah. So yeah.
But that's probably not going to be until the non-video related,
more of the bigger stuff. So
more bigger and more technical stuff. So next up we have best adapted screenplay. I'll start this.
Yeah.
Borat subsequent movie film. No, you're not. You're not mishearing that.
Yeah. The Father.
Nomadland.
One Night in Miami.
Congrats for that, by the way. And The White Tiger. I have no idea what The White Tiger.
That was on Netflix.
That was another Netflix one.
That was another Netflix one.
You didn't put it on my list.
I didn't because at the time I didn't know. I was going off of more of the main ones, but. Yeah, so adapted. Let's start off with Borat. Borat is more or less adapted off a character that Sacha Baron Cohen pretty much created and developed and had fun with, and they already did one movie for it as well.
So, the best way, I think we can get this over quickly. With
this one we can fly.
Oh, by the way, high five for their best original screenplay. We did so much talking in that one. I'm surprised. Yeah. But Borat's a good movie film. We're gonna get the opposite right now. I guess the best way to call it is. It is the perfect rendition of the live action candid camera films.
In a way, that's all it is.
The live camera, like the one that just came up, Eric Andre and Lil Rel in it, is like the Jackass Bad Grandpa one, the first part. I think it's the perfect version of what we're going to get.
It's a type of thing of like, compared to what we get like for a Jackass or anything like that, here they find a way of telling the story but just playing along with the people that are attached to it.
I think what makes this work, and what I think the reason it got nominated is just that it's so many people believing that he is real.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about Sacha Baron Cohen. And we'll get into that when we get into actor, best supporting actor.
Yeah, when we get up to that.
When we get best, we'll probably have more. But that's what,
that, like I said, for the adapted screenplay, we can see why, because. He wasn't afraid to back down. Even though he admitted there were scary moments, he wasn't afraid to back down, and he really stuck to this character. He's always been a fan of his own character.
I'm still jealous of who his wife is.
I know. But anyways, on to the next one.
The Father,
yes.
a.k.a. God damn, I don't want to get Alzheimer's. That's the best way to put this film.
Alzheimer's, dementia, any of that stuff.
So, I think this is the only one not based off of. It's the only one I believe nominated for Best Picture or just adapted that's the only one based off a play.
Is it based off?
Yeah, in Best Picture. Oprah had more in Best Picture, but it's the only Best Picture that's based off a play.
It is. I thought it was. I was honestly.
It is based off a play.
Playwright by
Yes, it's based off of, I believe, a very popular French.
Yeah.
But anyways, adapted screenplay. So
the one they adapted to the film was just beautifully done. I have to say.
Now we're going to talk a bit about this with the other one that's based off a play in this category, One Night in Miami. But suffice to say, if I had to choose the better of the two based off of plays in this adapted screenplay, it would probably be this one, The Father.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it did something very clever with its visuals, with its storytelling overall. I think what made One Night in Miami work, but ultimately me going like thinking about Father more than One Night in Miami is because like there was not only more characters, but there was definitely a sense that while the settings were the same, the scenes were completely different.
They were different, or certain parts felt like it was repeated, but it was repeated in a different way where we heard it or saw it in a different way.
Yeah, well, I give props to One Night in Miami for going to different settings overall, more different settings, or trying to expand upon the play. What I loved about this one, Father, was that it just took that play concept and just rolled with it. It was like at most we see like four different places. But let's be honest, we're not there for long. Like One Night in Miami is. We're not in certain place for a certain amount of time. No, we're like here, next part. No, here, next part. It's like the scenes are definitely different overall.
They're evolving, they're changing, and the way they put it together was fantastic. The way that it's like they really had to find a way to make you feel like you were with him this whole time. You were like feeling for him.
The story itself, because that's what we're about here is the screenplay, just a screenplay, is that it literally is telling you and making you feel like Anthony Hopkins' character. Ironically, I didn't know his name was Anthony till the end of the film, but like it was just.
Oh, they kept saying it throughout the film. But
I was, to be fair, I was multitasking that day with the film.
That's what it really felt like. It really. And it's not even just his character. It's mainly it really puts you in the shoes of people who suffer with Alzheimer's, who suffer with dementia, but like more of the heavy parts when they start getting deep into it, where it's like to a point where it's like I've seen it before. He's been through it already before, where it's like you really feel like you're that character. You feel like you're that one person. You're like. Now you understand what that person goes through.
That's what's great about the film is that it not only makes you feel like this character, where you're trying to figure out why is this scene shift over to now here? Why is that person replaced with this person? Why is
at any moment it feels like, oh, this is a trap. Somebody's tricking this guy, but it's not. It's not.
But at the same time, while Anthony was going through this, you see there are those quick glimpses of what his daughter, played by Whoopi Goldman, is going through. Like, we talked about this when you're driving off for work this morning, was that when the scene where, like, she imagines killing her own father. Yeah. That's how, like, toxic it's got.
It's like it not only shows his side, but it also shows the person trying their best to take care of that person.
And what's great is they don't overpower it on that side of things, because the main story is still about...
focused on him.
It's still about Anthony.
It's still focused, but it's like... on Anthony himself, pretty much. It's like it shows... that it's like we're still focused on him, but it's like every now and then you see that little bit of suffering that's being pulled from them. That they feel horrible for what they're putting them through. Not only what they're going through themselves, but what their significant other is going through, or their father or mother is going through. And that it's like those little bits, you really feel that, And
then by the end, accepting, that there's no more you can really do. You legitimately have to move on with your life. Mm-hmm. And it's very well done.
Yeah. So next one is No Man Land. That one.
The story-wise, what did I say? It was so grounded. The story was so grounded in reality. I was just Francis McDormand going around just talking to actual nomads.
And it's like I told you when I first saw it myself. I said, and you agreed with me even after watching it. It's like you sit there and you think you're watching a documentary, but you're not. You're following the story of this woman who's new to this. She's understanding how this works. And what I love about it is how they adapted the book, and then how they adapted it, because it's based off a book. This one is based off a book, but compared to the book and the film The book, it's more of just like journals or just stories of other people.
So what makes this work?
Yeah.
What makes this work is not just Frances McDormand's performance, because she does a great job, but it's that it's not just because he could just turn this into a documentary.
Well, that's what I said.
I agree with you. No, that's what I agree with you. They could just made this documentary, but instead what they did was they wanted to show the story was just a perfect example of a nomad's life. Yeah. And that's what Frances McDormand was.
And that's what this is. Like I was trying to say before, is that what I love about it is that sense of, it's like you're learning about this, but you're following this character who's also learning about this, but also we're learning about why these people are like this, why they're like this, why they're doing this, whether it's lost loved ones or whether it's political or whatever the world that they live in, they don't believe in it anymore.
Yeah, because it's based off of, the core of it is based off a true story about this town that just disappeared off the map.
Because the people we've run into, or the people she makes friends with, are actual nomads, except for, of course, maybe a couple people. But
is that true?
Yeah, if you look it up, and you look at the production, even they state, majority of the people you see are all actual nomads.
Okay.
And some of the stories they're telling you are their actual story. It's just that they're trying to deliver to tell the story.
Okay, thank you. You can probably change my thoughts about a little bit about this then, because what makes it work is, because remember I told you this is Frances McDormand talking about actual nomad. What's great is she's the I forget this term. It's the reason people hate for the fact they added a character into the new Mortal Kombat film. The person who's the fresh face. The fresh face. The newbie, in a way. The newbie, the probie, as it were, to this. And that's what Frances McDormand is. Yes, she's lived life in Nomad, but this movie shows...
Now she's starting to meet other people. There's so many more people like her, out there.
She's getting to not only experience... And we get to see not only her experience life as a Nomad, but getting to see all the sights she gets to see. Every year she goes out on her own before having to jump back into that seasonal
the different jobs
at Amazon.
From the job that she goes to, but it's like she sees the people, she sees what they go through. Even when she had it was a sit down with that one guy, pretty much. It's like she sat down, got to talk to him, about his family, where you're from.
Was that guy?
That part I do not know. That part I do not know.
I felt like that guy was real.
But like I said though, it's like. That's what really drew me into this film, was just that it really felt like, you're in this documentary.
You got to understand what it's like to be a nomad.
They did, yeah. In a way they did it to where it's it's not a documentary, it's still film, but it's like you're still learning at the same time.
It was the film's goal. The film's goal was never that Frances McDormand eventually settles down and moves into a place.
Yeah, it's just her.
It was just, the story was... This is life as a nomad.
This is just
it. This is life as a nomad,
and she's learning these experiences, and she's learning new things to survive as a nomad.
There's no third act breakup.
Yeah.
There's no confrontations. There's no evil corporation. No antagonists. If I would say antagonist, it was just people wanting her to settle down, whether it was her sister when she has to go for money for Vanguard.
Yeah.
Or
the van, yeah.
Well, that's what Vanguard should call it. But and David Strathairn's character when he wants her to move in with him and his family.
Yeah, like in the guest house and stuff like that. Yeah.
The antagonist wasn't those characters. The antagonist was staying still for a set amount of time.
Yeah, it's like, and that's why it's like, you see her for that one moment where she couldn't even sleep in an actual bed. She only could actually sleep
in
in
the next morning, she's there in the house alone.
Yeah.
And she just can't. She doesn't need to tell you she just can't. She just can't.
Exactly.
And as time goes along, you do find out more about her background, but it's really the main story is just finding out about other people's travels as nomads.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very well done. It's definitely, we'll get into who the picks for that, but it's one of the top two considered for this one.
Now, the next two I have not seen. The others I did.
I have seen One Night in Miami. I have seen it. I saw it with my father. It's the first movie I saw off the
this one you started watching,
Okay, so remember what I said about the father?
Well, I know the story,
It was based off a play, and what they did was they just used the play and just slightly twisted things around once in a while. Mm-hmm. This one, it's mainly focused on just, the setting is important, but it's just the characters. This is more grounded to its own play.
Yeah.
They add additional scenes, spoilers, I guess.
Like,
Ali winning the world champion for the first time. The stuff Malcolm X was going through when he decided he was going to move away from the pack of other Islam followers.
Yeah,
Muslim followers.
It's like there's certain scenes you could tell that they were added to help carry the story, while the rest of it you could tell was like, okay, this is definitely based off of.
They added those things to make it feel like a film, but overall it was still a play at its core, and you got that. Because there's a lot of scenes where they're just talking. There's a lot of good performances. Like, our father personally loved Aldous Hodges' performance as Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Like, which I'm happy about that. But the story itself is really good because this is still technically still a fictional story. This is still very much technically a very what did I just say? I just blanked.
I have no idea.
A very fictional story.
Yeah.
But it's told in a way where you can believe the actual Malcolm X, the actual Sam Woods.
Well, they said that this actually did happen, but it's like the rest of it is just more of what probably would have went down.
Somebody's interpretation of what they were talking about.
What they were talking about, what probably went down.
Yeah, so you got like Sam Cooke's, like you got like amazing stuff throughout, and it's just like you could believe these people had these legit conversations that night.
Yeah.
Whether it was Sam. I guess spoilers for you won't mind. Whether it was Malcolm X getting into Sam Cooke's case about having this great voice in the music industry, but not using it to better help the African American community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's what is it? Muhammad Ali having let me phrase that. There's Cassius Clay having his doubts about he's playing in the movie. He's making his announcement the next day of converting to Muslim. The Islam. And like even in the film we see his doubts.
Yeah.
We see Malcolm X's doubts about like moving out of the Islam community, Muslim community, start his own thing. There's of course there's Jim Brown where or not he wants to move on from just being a football player to being something more.
Yeah, exactly.
Something different, something not stereotyped for African American. In this case, a really good football player. In this case, and luckily our dad was there because he explained to me a bit more about little things here and there. But like, just showing what each of them were going through to not only make their own lives better, but to try to, in a way, even with I guess Malcolm X's inspiration in a way, try to better the African American community.
The experience
with whether it was Muhammad Ali in the sports community, whether it was
like each of their fields,
in the music industry.
It's like it's each of their fields in a way that pretty much they're kind of representing.
Like this even showed Malcolm X before he actually went to visit the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
Before he actually got there and realized that it's not just black people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole rainbow community.
Yeah.
As it were, like Fred Hampton says, it's a whole rainbow community, and that's where his point of view changed, and that's where, for better or for worse, that's where his life changed forever.
Exactly.
For better and for worse, and it's very well done. It's very well told. Story's very well told, and it doesn't have a happy ending. I'm not saying it doesn't have an ending. I mean, it has its own ending. It's just that one night. That's it.
Yeah,
you get to see where each of them basically wound up, but in the end, it's just that one night that kind of changes their lives, whether they wanted to or not.
Yeah.
And it's told very well.
Cool.
But now
we haven't seen The White Tiger, so
sorry.
I say is like you can see it on Netflix. Pretty much, it's on there. But I just know the basic premise of this: a kid who just wanted to be a driver and stuff like that, and then something happens to the point where it's like now he's trying to break free away from this like rich family and stuff like that. And it's like he's telling his own story of like how he's become so big. Where he's at now, where he's now known as the White Tiger and stuff like that.
So what did you choose?
I chose The Father.
The Father. You know what? Because it was a bit split between The Father.
It was between The Father and No Man's Land for a lot of people.
Because we need one.
We don't have to necessarily. You have to go with your gut feeling.
I'm gonna go with No Man's Land.
Okay.
Like I said, I think that was very well done. I think The Father was good, but I think No Man's Land, the combination of her story as well as actually telling a true story at the same time, a true story with most of them being real people, made it work out the most. And what you said about it, with the trivia, I think I'm gonna go with No Man Land. Plus, like I said, we need a split because I feel like the rest were probably except for maybe one more in this video. So I'll go with No Man Land.
Cool. So there we go. The Father, No Man Land. All right. All right. Now on to Best Supporting Actress.
The nominees are
Yes. Maria Bakalova, Borat subsequent movie film.
Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy,
Olivia Colman, The Father.
Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Sorry.
Yoon Jung Yoon, Minari.
So right off the bat.
Let's just start from the top.
Okay, so I will give the chick from Borat to this.
Mm-hmm.
She convinced Rudy Giuliani she was real. I'll give her that. And that's all I gotta say about that.
And she pretty much was able to put up a lot with Sacha Baron Cohen's like stuff. Even he was like kind of like, wow, okay, this is we definitely got the right girl for this.
For Glenn Close, in Hillbilly Elegy, the best way to put it is that watch the trailer. You can see why she was nominated just by watching.
Yeah, just by watching the trailer, you can see why she's nominated because it's like she always gives 100% on all of her roles and things like that. And that film is like she's kind of like the one that's carrying everything because I heard the story is not as strong, but her performance is fantastic.
Now we can get on with it because those are the only two we haven't seen. Father, Mank, and Minari we've seen.
Yeah.
So let's start with Olivia Colman, The Father.
Man,
she plays Anne.
She plays.
And
she plays the daughter so wonderful. She beautifully well.
I think the scene that made me convinced why she was nominated is the scene where he's telling the nurse about her.
Oh yeah.
He's telling what he didn't like about her. He tells her what he likes. And you can, because she has to still maintain
her expression from happy to like
dread,
it's like shifting to where she's like, what's going on? What's happening?
She captured all that in like scenes because he kept on cutting to Anthony Hopkins and the nurse, but then you come back.
Every time they cut back, it's like you see her transition in her mood, and it just completely shifts.
And even behind the smile she gives to her father, you can tell there's sadness. Yeah. There's that toxicity she's thinking about because we brought that up in the we just brought that up with the father in adapted screenplay. Mm-hmm. Is that the scene where she's thinking about strangling him?
It's like she really captures that person doing the best that they can to take care of that loved one, to take care of them, to try to do their best to try to even have a normal life. And even live their own normal life, but also trying to take care of them, and just dealing with some of the stuff that, that other person, is going through. Yeah. So it's like you just for her, it's like wow, just a very powerful performance and just fantastic job.
Yeah. Amanda Seyfried and Mank. I don't know. I thought she was good. Yeah. I didn't think she was groundbreaking. She
really captured what pretty much for a female actress, especially trying to growing female actress, was like back in the day. Their attitude towards a lot of things, especially in the scene where she says something was when they were in a big room with Hearst and then with Mank there and then the other guy there because they're celebrating his birthday and she says something. And all of a sudden, it's everybody goes quiet, and then she just realizes, in that moment, going, "I guess I said the wrong thing. I'm gonna go out for air." Realizing to me, it's she really captured, how a female woman was kind of treated back in the day. How they, especially
the biggest positive I can give to Amanda Seyfried because I don't think she's going to but the biggest positive I give to Amanda Seyfried is that she does a very good job of just being that character, that type, like you just said, that being that type, and she fit that role beautifully. Fit the role really well. I don't think she won it, but I think she did a good job.
She did a great job, convincing. It's this is how they were back in the day. This is how some of the women were back in the day, especially female actresses trying to make it big, especially a young one, trying to make it somewhere. And just doing whatever she can, especially when. She's attached to Hearst. She's really attached to him at the hip at this point, and she's, that's what it was, and she did a good job. That's why I said not a phenomenal, great job, but just she did a good job overall.
Yeah. And Yoo Jung Yoon Easily the best part of Minari, in my opinion.
She really,
the grandmother.
The grandmother was phenomenal. She really was that grandmother. Like, because throughout the film, spoilers, the grandson was like, "You're not a real grandmother. You're not a real grandmother," and she kind of was proven, going like,
She did the sassy grandma well.
Yeah, she did the sassy grandma, and she's like, and she's playing that grandmother that's like, what type of grandma do you want me to be? She's playing her own, the grandma that we see nowadays, where it's like, who's her own person.
But at the same time, she does come off somebody like a grandmother should, like nice. Good,
yeah, exactly.
A good person.
A good person and all that, and she really delivered that, and then, eventually what happens to her character is like you really feel for her, and the way she delivered, just that, the pain that she was going through, or what she was trying to do to help. It's like you really felt it, and she delivered it, and it's just like she was like, if anything, she was like the one that was like, if anybody, if you tell somebody who to watch out for in a film, it's her. When she arrived on that screen, she took it over at this point.
Yeah. So obviously the odds-on favorite,
and it's been talking about
is the grandma in Minari.
Yeah, it's Yoon in Minari. She is the talk of the town right now, and even everyone's like, Glenn Close, watch out. A lot of people are saying that. I've been reading a lot of
articles. I wouldn't go that far, folks.
A lot of people are saying that because they're like, watch out, because this woman's been sweeping the awards like there's no tomorrow.
So yeah, that's my pick. Young Jung, grandmother from Minari, as the actress in a supporting role.
Yeah. Now we move on to Best Supporting Actor.
Best Supporting Actor.
Yes.
And before we start, I'd like to give an honorary mention to Will Patton in Minari.
Oh, yes.
I feel like he probably would have been one of these if one of these films didn't come out this year.
I think
Will Patton was like, next to the grandmother, was like the best performances. Like Stephen Yeun did great, Will Patton did great, and the grandmother did amazing.
Yeah.
Will Patton, honorary mention to Will Patton, did fucking phenomenal in that.
Great guy. And again, you ever seen watch Minari? Please watch it. It is a very good film. And like I said, besides the grandmother, even he's a great character as well.
So, but actor in a supporting role.
Sacha Baron Cohen, The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Daniel Kaluuya, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami.
Paul Raci, Sound of Metal.
Lakeith Stanfield, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay, so I have to look up who was Paul Raci again in Sound of Metal?
He was the counselor, the one that
head counselor,
the head counselor, the guy,
okay.
head guy that they go see. He's the one.
Okay. So Sacha Baron Cohen, like I said, we were going to bring this up before. What he does great about story screenplay, adapted with his Borat films, is he puts himself into the full role. He doesn't care if you're real or not. He is in the role full. He's like the comedic interpret version of Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah. Is the best way of putting it.
The method acting. That's what it is.
Here, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I think Sacha Baron Cohen is easy one of Sacha Baron Cohen's best films.
Man.
No, best films. Sure, not one of these.
No. I'm saying, that's what I said. It's the way he delivered his character, the way his character was, and the way his character acted. It's just, you really felt like, oh my god, this guy is literally...
The character was simple. He's somebody who's done his research, he believes in his political beliefs, but at the same time, he's still a comedian. And what's great about Sacha Baron Cohen is he can play a funny guy.
Yeah.
And he does that, but you still feel for this guy.
But like, there's moments where it's like, what's the guy's name? The other guy, the head guy, pretty much was like...
Eddie Redmayne's character.
Yeah, Eddie Redmayne's character, where they're like, something comes up, and all of a sudden they're like, you can't take this thing. Yes, I can. And because they're like, we can't put up his character, we can't put him up and say he's going to make a mockery or stuff like that. But then they realize going, he's freaking intelligent. The way he sat on that stand, pretty much when he was being questioned for Sacha Baron Cohen's character, you're just like, wow, this guy is freaking smart. And Eddie Redmayne's character even notices going, they chose the right guy, because it's like he knows his shit. He may be having fun, he may be just making a mockery of stuff, but you know what? He's making a point, and he's doing it in a way where you're like, shit, this guy.
It is hard to believe sometimes Sacha Baron Cohen can be an amazing actor.
And then you get that from a lot of these comedic actors that you get sometimes, and not all of them, but there's very few that they deliver it their all. You're like, wow, their performance is fantastic, and you get that from Sacha Baron Cohen. You feel not only the laid back type, but even his sidekick, he has. It's like you really feel like they're always bouncing off of each other, and they do a great job. But you see the concern, you see like how there are times when he's just like, I talk, people follow. It's like, and he's not joking around. He's like, I peep and I get these people following me. That's it.
Yeah, but amazing,
amazing, well done, and it's like great nomination.
Now I have a problem with this next one. Daniel Kaluuya and Judas Blackstone. Not that he's nominated. Love that he's nominated, but jeez, man. Should he have been nominated for Best Actor? Because he was the main guy of the story.
I thought it was going to be Lakeith Stanfield, since he was like kind of the main guy we're following.
So let's put these two in one, because Lakeith Stanfield is also nominated, like we said, for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Let's start off with Daniel Kaluuya.
So he did an amazing job.
Oh my god!
Doesn't look like the guy because they showed a real shot, but
as close as they could. But
he played the guy beautifully.
Yeah.
You believe every word coming out of this guy's mouth.
Yeah, he was pretty much. He came up, and when he made his speeches, he made you feel like you pretty much were like you were in that room with him. You were chanting with him. You were. This is a revolution chant.
Yeah, I am a revolutionary.
I'm a revolution chant.
I think easily
really felt like
easily the best scene of the film with him was that.
Yeah, it's like you really felt that in this. You really did. Like you feel those moments where like when he was saying that speech, he was believing that speech. He was believing what he was telling these people.
He believed his own words.
He believed his own words, and that's what I loved about that's what really sold him on this character. That really drew me in, where I was like, holy crap, this guy is fucking amazing. He's doing a phenomenal job delivering these lines, delivering the emotion, especially even when he's talking to his girlfriend and stuff like that. Just telling her it's like how much he's sticking to his guns and to his beliefs and everything.
This was the only movie me and him watched together. Only movie out of the entire.
No, two of them.
What was the second one?
Pieces of a Woman.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I guess we'll transition into Lakeith Stanfield's character.
Yeah, his character.
Because the best way to play his character is he perfectly portrayed what an informant is supposed to be.
Yeah, he does. He plays the way an informant should be played, which is somebody who's literally trying to survive, but also
just so you can go another.
Yeah, and trying to survive and try to. A great informant is a good guy who can bullshit his way out of anything.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Perfect scene with that was the hotwire car.
Yeah, when he was hotwiring a car.
When he had to show he can hotwire a car.
Because of what happened prior, where they're like, who were you before? What happened? Who's this other guy who's accusing it?
And this guy isn't confident at all. He's good in his portrayal because it's not that difficult to portray a member of the Black Panther Party. The parts where he has to hesitate is where you can see
close calls.
You can see the close calls, like when they're the cops shooting up the Black Panther.
And he's like, nope, he's out of there. He's trying to tell him to get out, but it's like they're ignoring him, and so he leaves.
He books it. As soon as they show that he was in the position on the top, that's it. He's gone. He's gone. That's it. No more. He's gone. He's out. You can see it on his face. You can see on his face when he's trying. He's just trying to throw Hampton under the bus with the C4.
Yeah.
Just trying to do that so that he can get fucking out. He can get out. Because he knows how hostile, and you can tell. Like, he's cursing up a storm on the way out. He knows he failed, but that's not the reason he's pissed that he failed. He's pissed that he's like, yeah, I have to do this longer. Are you fucking kidding me?
That, and then, that moment where pretty much, when he finds out about the other guy, pretty much, who was also a snitch, but through everybody's noses off, saying, this guy was a snitch, so I killed him. I found out. His
last meeting with his FBI agent.
Yeah, exactly.
That was in the restaurant. Like,
you felt it, because at that point, he believed in Fred Hampton. He believed what he was standing for, because he started believing what Fred Hampton was even saying. Where he was
that scene in the end where he sees him for the last time. Just, you can tell. Like, we've all done that once in our blue moon. We've done something, and as far as we know, we've gotten away with it, but you can't help but be in the same way the person you did something to I feel paranoid. And
Yeah.
he fucking showed that in
Yeah,
that last scene with Fred Hampton. Like, he showed that.
He showed that.
And it was great.
His emotion, he was getting emotional, going, want a drink? Want one less drink? And he was just crying. You could tell he was holding back because he knew what he was about to do. And even with the last meeting he had with the FBI, he felt like he did the most horrible thing in the world to the one person that he actually started connecting to the most. And Lakeith Stanfield played that role to the key.
So Leslie Odom Jr., this is me, man. One Night in Miami, he played Sam Cooke, it was the musician.
Yeah.
I think Leslie Odom Jr. was definitely the best out of all. My dad would argue Alice Hodge.
Yeah.
But I agree, he did a great job as well. But Sam Cooke did great. Because what made Leslie Odom Jr. work so well was there's a lot he had to do as Sam Cooke where he had to defend himself. And you had to believe for the fact that he defended himself. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he had to defend himself against Malcolm X for not, doing more with music for the African American community. Or there's a scene where he has to talk about, there's a scene where he talks about how he explains some one thing he's taking advantage of with the white community, and that's the Rolling Stones story about how one of his musicians did a song in his record company. It did good, it didn't do great. But Rolling Stones wanted to do a cover of it. They did it, it went to the chart, to the top of the charts.
Yeah.
Was his musicians worried? Yes. But then he had to raid musicians, guess what? They may be making some money off that. They get number one, stuff like that. But guess what? You are still making you're making the majority percentage out of that in the royalties. And the way he emphasized that to Malcolm X, all the other members in that hotel room, is that this is my way of taking advantage of the white community. This is my way of showing the world what I am capable of, where the white community realizes it or not. That was a great scene. The scene they have on the rooftop where they're talking about Malcolm X about what his next goals are and what Malcolm X wants them to do and stuff like that, and they get heated, and Tim Leslie does a great job of that. But I think one of the best scenes is in the end, because throughout the movie, Sam Cooke talks to Malcolm X and everyone else about the song he's been working on. It's a song, and it's not one of his popular pop songs. Yeah. No, it's a story about him, how he was raised, where he was born, and you could see it on his face when he is singing that song. That he means every single word, and even the last shot, because the last shot in the movie is him done with the song and just one tear down his face, and he's singing the song on fucking Johnny Carson, and what's great about that role is that he showed why Sam Cooke believed what he believed in, but understood where Malcolm X was coming from about doing more. And there's another good scene too, where they're talking about a time he had to perform a concert in Boston, and Malcolm X, he didn't know Malcolm X was there. He didn't know he was there at all. And there was this performance he had to do, and this jackass who was performing for him turned off all the audio. Shut off all the audio. So the fans were booing him. The crowd was booing him. They know who Sam Cooke is, but he can't sing, he can't perform. So you know what he did? And it's a really good scene. I hope they find the clip on YouTube. It's a really good scene. He just gets the crowd to go along. Gets to the beat of the song and starts singing the song. And gets the crowd to sing along with him.
Cool.
And he shows he's worried, but he's confident. And I think this is easily one of Leslie Odom Jr.'s best performances.
Cool.
In a row. That's all I gotta say about that.
And then we have
Paul Racy.
That's that. Like I said, he's the counselor. He's the head counselor that the guy goes to pretty much when he gets there.
Where Rue goes to in Sound of Metal.
Yeah, where he goes to the place exactly. And don't be wrong, the guy did a great job. To me, it wasn't strong enough compared to the other actors. So I see why he was up there though, because there are certain points where I felt like, oh wow, man, he really felt, especially the scene where he finally tells him about his addiction. Mm-hmm. After he gets surgery and stuff like that, and he tells him about it. I think that was the scene. I think that sold it. I think that's the scene that got him the nod. Was that scene? It was that scene alone, because it's like he really felt like he felt for him. It's like he really, as if it's like you're one of the most prominent people I've seen arrive here, and look how much you've taken on to the role with everybody. Especially when the other scene where he offers him, hey, just food for thought. It's up to you. Do you want to stay here? Because the way you were connected to the people.
And what was also great about his role was he knows actual American Sign Language.
Yeah, he does. He really pretty much the actor, because he was his parents were deaf. That's why. So he was he learned it. So he knew. So that's like it was really cool how they interpret that. But still, either which way, like you said. To me, like I said, it was that one scene alone that, like I said, kind of I think got solidified of a lot of people going, this guy needs to be nominated. That was the scene I think. And don't get me wrong, he was good in the film, but it wasn't as good as the other actors on this list. But that said,
Daniel Kaluuya is the odds-on favorite to win this one.
This one, hands down, everyone's saying Daniel Kaluuya, and that's my select.
Daniel Kaluuya did a great job. Easily one of his most standout performances. I'm so happy for him because just how far he's come in the industry to now be in a cameo. We'll get to this in actor-only role when we talk about Steven Yeun, but games from the bottom to now look where he's at now. Just great work from him overall. You can see why he's the odds-on favorite because he emphasized everything Fred Hampton believed in, and you felt it through an actor playing a true life character, a literal true story character. So we'll go with Daniel Kaluuya.
That's what I have. So his choice, Daniel Kaluuya. Both our choices, Daniel Kaluuya. So our next one is for Best Actor in a Leading Role,
and the nominees are
Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal;
Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom;
Anthony Hopkins, The Father;
Gary Oldman in Mank; and
Steven Yeun, Minari.
So let's just get this out of the way now. It's obviously going to be Chadwick.
Yeah.
It was between two. For what's been reported about what he did on set, he literally put everything he had into it, knowing full well he may not make it to see this movie when it's done. And
it was between. To be honest, it was a lot of people said it was between two people in this category:
Chadwick and Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, because both the performances. Dude, a lot they're saying.
Could you imagine what his reaction would have been to know he's going head to head with like a legend like Anthony Hopkins or like Gary Oldman?
Even he gets up there, he tells a speech, and this be like. It's just the honor of being nominated with the likes of a legend such as Anthony Hopkins.
So, with that being said, we're gonna just go right. We're gonna discuss it. We still want to discuss this because there's still a lot of amazing performances.
Let's start off with.
We're just gonna say now we're both choosing Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman's our pick.
We haven't seen the movie. We've only seen the trailer.
Yeah. But we're going off of what everybody's been talking about, and that's what we're choosing. But we're going to dive into the other actors and what we thought of the performances. So we're going to start off with...
I will start this off. Yeah. Because I want to start this off with Riz Ahmed as
Sound of Metal.
As Ruben Sound of Metal. Because, good lord, no offense to Chadwick Boseman, but I would say he was easily my second choice to win this award. Is Riz Ahmed. Because...
He was actually my third pick.
We'll get to that in a bit.
I know.
But his dedication is amazing. Because I saw IMDb video after I saw the movie. Like a couple days later, I saw IMDb video talking about where Riz Ahmed started. Like I didn't know he started as a rapper. I didn't know he slowly started to get into like movies and television.
I completely forgot he was in the Venom movie.
I actually knew he was in the Venom movie.
I took me a while to like. That's where I recognize him from. He's from Venom.
And he has been climbing. He is a story that has shown he has literally been climbing his way up the Hollywood ladder.
This is somebody that it's like after this role, this is somebody you should be watching.
Took over 8 months worth of drum lessons and American Sign Language.
2 hours. 2 hours of drum lessons. 2 hours of American Sign Language learning, and then also was it 2 hours of like working out, and the rest of it was just with his acting coach.
8 months.
8 months straight.
8 months straight.
He did this. And this shows.
It's not Daniel Day-Lewis, but goddamn is it close.
It shows when a man, or even that, just when an actor is dedicated to their role, who really believes in this role, where they really want to, show and deliver you know, that they know their shit, they know what they handle, you know, especially when they're on the screen. It's like, you believe this guy's a drummer, you believe this guy actually learned sign language, you know, you believe this guy was physically fit. Because even in the film, the guy, you know, Ruben's character was taking care of himself, you know, he was working out and things like that. So it's like showing that it's like this guy cared about his body and things like that, you know. And but what he did, even when he told me and I looked it up and I was just like, and after watching the film, it shows. It shows that this guy was dedicated.
Here, let me look up the scenes I have. Because it's like, what scene can you not say he did great in? Like, let me see. Favorite scenes. Yeah, like for obviously his initial mental breakdown.
Yeah,
was a great scene because that hit me. It's like I watched a whole bunch of movies. Mm-hmm. That's the one scene out of a lot, like everything that hit hard. Mm-hmm. Not because I can relate to it, but because like we've all been there where we just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, excuse me, where can't take it anymore, and just that really showed it.
Yeah, where it's like he was getting to that breaking point, you know, where it's like he didn't want to.
Or it's something as simple as a donut when he has to go into that empty room. Mm-hmm. Just that him just wrecking the donut, putting it together, wrecking it again.
Well, it's not even that. Just him going into the room, which is a chair, a table, a writing pad, and a pen, and just a cup of coffee with something.
That's why.
A cup of coffee with. It's like his reaction to what he had to sit there and do.
It was great because like. It was great. I keep on bringing the donut thing, but it was cool. Is like he goes like he destroys it. He's angry. He's mad, but he's like, no, they're just trying to help people put it together. Click back.
Yeah,
but you gotta get through this.
And for me, it wasn't for the donut. For me, it was more of when he showed his writing. When he was like, every time we saw him in the happy mood, but then we see him back in the writing, he was just releasing everything on that writing pad, just writing. Releasing that anger, releasing that pressure.
When he showed his addiction, because we brought this up when we talked about Paul Racy.
Oh,
that scene where he's showing his addiction to him, pretty much.
Yeah.
Where he's acting like an addict. By that point, he is acting like an addict, and like. Like doesn't,
and it's like it wasn't until the end was when he finally sees it. He finally sees what the guy was, Paul Racy's character was telling him, you know, which was, you know, you're an addict, and he finally sees it. He watches it, and he sees it. He finally realizes and like, I can't do this. I gotta move forward.
When he finally gets back to Lola and they have that scene of Edgar, and
as I said, that's that moment, that key moment where he finally realizes what he was talking about.
It's not that. Okay, are you talking about the final scene?
Talking about the scene in the bed when he finally decides he tells her, you know,
it's okay.
It's it's okay. I'm gonna go. You know, it's like that's that moment where he finally realizes, because the moment
did he say I'm going to go?
Not gonna go, but you know what I mean. Where it's like he sees it when she starts scratching. Because remember when she first arrived, I don't see the scratches anymore. But then you see her start up again, and he realizes
now he understands more about the addiction.
What it means by the addiction, and that's where it's like, you know, that mental note, and he finally realizes. And like I said, he just does a phenomenal performance.
Easily Riz Ahmed's best performance. Yeah,
it's his best performance, and in a way, this is just his first step, and I think this is his first step. You know, it's like this is in a way telling people, I'm serious about my acting. You know, it's like this is I don't think this is the end for him right now. This is just the beginning, and this is just proof of it, showing this is his breakout performance. This is the true breakout performance of what he could truly do when he's diving deep into a role.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah, so did great. Anthony Hopkins in The Father. Pretty much, you picked the perfect old person to play somebody with Alzheimer's.
Man, I felt it. By the end of the film, I was crying. Not like, you know, not that, but just more of like, I was crying to the point where I felt what he was going through. You really felt what he was going through. He delivered it. You really felt that emotion. You can tell
at every moment, in every scene, he was losing something else.
Yes.
Whether it was the pains that his daughter did, whether it was the faith Anne had in him, whether it was just the little things like his CD not working.
Yeah.
Or just transitioning things.
I think there's certain moments, you know, there's certain moments where he's just in that single room. And it's like he's standing there like, what am I supposed to do? You know, that situation where he's like, what am I doing? Do I do this? Do I do that? It's like that just him in a room. It's like that says enough right there. Him within the room, just just in that scene, even in the kitchen before the bed, he's just standing there like, okay, what do I do?
Every scene, and what's worse is because he's somebody who's suffering from, in the film he's suffering from Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
What makes it work too is he makes, and every scene he's in with Anne sometimes, he makes her feel, or even her husband, he makes him feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
He makes him feel like we can't be honest around you.
Yeah, he really truly makes you feel like, like you're who are you? It's like it makes you feel like you're not supposed to be there.
And yeah, of course, the best scene is at the end where he has his mental breakdown.
Yeah, when he finally, not even that too. When the guy slaps him, when he slaps him, it's like that's when it really clicks. Where it's just like, it's like he's having that push, that breakdown, and it's like realizing what's going on. And it's just like, I like I said, by the end of it, I was just crying. I was just like, he really feels like Anthony Hopkins made you feel for his character, where you really felt like anybody who's suffering with this, you feel sorry for them, and he made you feel that. And he just did a phenomenal job. It's Anthony Hopkins again at his best when you give him the right perfect role to dive in.
Speaking of that, Gary Oldman as Mankiewicz.
Yes, Mank.
This was definitely another one of those films like with the Churchill film I put on my notes too, where it was definitely the biggest stand-up performance was Gary Oldman. Yeah. Like with the Churchill film. And this clearly shows playing a man who just loves his job.
He loves what he does, and at the same time he loves drinking at the same time.
And he has his issues. He's definitely more and more outbox character people during that time, and
he knows the workings, the innings and outs when it comes to certain things, and he showed it. He really showed it. You really felt it from him, especially those moments where it's like he felt bad, like when the girl, like I said, when she had to leave because of the comment she made, and he went out there and they had a full conversation, because it's like they know that she needed somebody to talk to.
And what makes Gary Oldman, his performance work so well is, yes, he's more of this hard-nosed, but more of like this, like, he knows how the industry works, he knows how tough you gotta be to survive in this industry, but you can tell as core, Will Gary Oldman, you can tell as core, he's still himself no matter what. It's
like he's still himself, but but it shows in his performance and stuff like that, showing the character of, like, showing what Hollywood has done to his character in a way at the same time, where he knows the ins and outs, but it's like how much what has done to him mentally. That's how come he does all this drinking and stuff like that, because all the shit he has to go through, from corporate people to the the office to bosses to getting things done on time. It's just like it's what drives him. What pushes him and drives him.
Yeah, and easily the best scene, of course, is when he pretty much pitches the idea of that
was a scene that kind of
pitches the idea for Citizen Kane.
That sold me on his character. Really kind of solidified who his character was. It was just somebody that he saw the society and he's like, what, I have this idea, and he delivered it to like the core, and you really felt it, and that scene kind of, Gary Oldman knew how to sell this character, and he did a great job.
Yeah. So, okay. So Steven Yeun, first off.
Yes.
I'm giving you applause. That man has come a long way from being the guy named Glenn in The Walking Dead.
Yes. He has, and he's a great role. This was a great role for him.
Like I said, there was 3 top performances of Minari. It was Will Patton, the grandmother, and Steven Yeun. Yeah. I think Steven Yeun did an amazing job.
Just playing a father that was just trying to do it. You could
tell in every moment, every scene.
He was trying.
He was trying, whether or not it was with his wife, who just doesn't believe in him.
He didn't believe in the dream he had,
his frustrations with the farm, of setting up this farm, trying to get people to buy his produce.
It's like all of this type of stuff. It's like it's like you saw the struggle. You saw what, he really delivered on, that father that's willing to do whatever it takes for his family. That
broken down acceptance when his wife just wants to move back to California.
Yeah, wants to move back and go back to what they were doing before.
because he knows and Stephen does great because he shows that part of him wants to continue the process, but the other thing he's like, he wants to make his family happy.
He wants to show her and show them that this can work. This can work.
But but in his face, he understands that in the long run, who's going to be there for the rest of your life? Is it going to be the produce or the farm, or is it going to be your family?
Yeah.
And ultimately, he does choose his family. Of course, the barn burning changes.
That's what really changed it, because before that, they were gonna go and he was gonna stay either which way. It was when that barn really burned down was what really drove them all to decide to stay. You know, because it's like of how much work he put into this, and look at the deal they just had even early in that day, where it's like, this can work if we can make it work.
Yeah.
You know, and he did a great job at delivering that.
Yeah, I think he did an absolutely phenomenal job overall. Just some great performance from Steven Yeun. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, here, like you said, they were all phenomenal, great performances. I mean, even though we had our like top 3 or top 2 of our favorites, but they were all solid performances. But hands down, I had to go to Chadwick Boseman, like we said before, in his performance, because that's all we keep hearing about is his performance in this film is just unbelievably just fantastic. And it's definitely a film I'm probably going to try to watch this weekend myself, because it's, after hearing everything about everybody was saying about his performance, it's like I have to take a look at it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we chose.
So next up is actress in a leading role.
Yes, this is the one that really is the hardest. This is one that everybody's considering. This is gonna be literally the wild card.
Yeah, this is what I was telling you about. We may split on. We're honestly.
Because normally people go by all the other awards that they've won prior to this, from Screen Actors Guild to other awards, to even to BAFTAs and stuff like that. It's like, this is the one where each one of these characters each one of these women have each won an award, and you really don't know who's gonna win this.
Okay, go on.
The nominees are Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom;
Andra Day, United States versus Billie Holiday;
Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman;
Frances McDormand, Nomadland;
Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman.
Okay, so right off the bat, I cannot go with Viola Davis or Andra Day. Though I know Viola Davis is the one of the top 2 most likely. Okay, I'll say this. If it's Viola Davis, she's a major actress, so I'm pretty sure she slam dunked this role. Based on the trailer we did see, I can tell that.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Andra Day, I've only seen a commercial for this film online, and that's it. I can't say anything about that, unfortunately. Do you have anything else to say about the 2 actresses? We can't really talk about it.
No, I wasn't. Again, I heard nothing but phenomenal things for Viola Davis. Andra Day, I heard that she's just, she's incredible in the United States versus Billie Holiday, saying that she did great and stuff like that. I was happy for her when she did won at the Golden Globes and stuff like that, because that was very historical in a way. Because I think she was like the second Black woman to ever win this award in this role, or in this category at least. So, but she did a great performance. But now, let's just move on to
the ones we have seen.
So we start off with
Vanessa Kirby and Pieces of a Woman.
Yeah, that one.
Heavy. Come on, you gotta say it's one of the heavier films we saw.
Yeah, it was very heavy.
Vanessa Kirby. I want to say it's amazing. She went from Hobbs and Shaw to this.
Oh yeah.
I know she's probably done more, but those are only 2 things I really know her for right now. It's not easy to show when you've lost somebody you've cherished, even if it was just for a minute.
Trying to move forward.
And moving forward.
Trying to at least.
Trying their best to move forward. And honestly, she showed that. I also want to give props. I know I'm going off track. Was it Helen or Ellen? Helen Bernstein? Ellen Bernstein?
The one who played the mother.
Props to her. She did great.
She's an honorable mention in this film, because there's a point in the film where she really delivers. Like, before you didn't like her, but now all of a sudden when she has that moment, she delivered on her role, and you're like, you really felt it.
But Vanessa Kirby did a really good job. I can see why she was nominated.
I see why she was nominated. I really do.
She just emphasized. She has like the least amount of lines in this. Like throughout the most film, she has like.
What she had to sell on this was what she really had to sell was just her emotion, her mood, her feeling, those moments where she really, it's like, what do? I don't know what to do. I had my child in my hands, now I don't anymore. It's like those moments of like, where do we go from here?
This was basically her going through a very lengthy grieving process, and it took a while for her to convince herself who was the main cause of this, who caused all.
Yeah, it's like she kept putting the blame on somebody, putting the blame back.
Yeah, and then like her family.
She finally realized where it's just like.
Yeah, her family was trying to put the emphasis on who to blame. And nobody was asking her what she felt.
Yeah, nobody was asking the right question towards her. Mom was trying to do whatever she could to protect her, even though we finally, eventually understood why the mom was doing it, and we finally understood now I understand what the mom was, why mom is like this. I understand that. But at the same time, nobody was asking her the right questions. Another honorable mention is Shia LaBeouf's character, because he had a phenomenal performance in this as well. It was great. Another powerful performance. He was like definitely one of the ones I heard that were like, if you watch this movie, watch his performance. He did a great job.
But not much to say about it. I mean, her standout part was definitely, aside from getting hit in the face with a medicine ball, which I still thought was hilarious.
That's something that it's like you want to put on repeat over and over again.
No, but was her speech to the person the family was family was suing.
At the end was when the speech of like when she was up on the stand, and what she finally, it's like she finally came to acceptance to everything. This was her moment of acceptance. And now how she was like, what am I doing? Why am I putting the blame on you? Especially when spoilers, again, if you haven't seen the movie, when she got the pictures back, and she finally saw, her holding the child, but then when she finally was looking at the child, realizing it wasn't her fault. It wasn't it wasn't this one person's fault. This is something that, it was an honest mistake. That's what it was. She wasn't no murderer. It wasn't like that. And it was kind of her finally coming to acceptance.
Yeah,
and she did a good job. I liked the performance, and her performance was strong. It wasn't super strong, but it was good enough to get nominated at least.
Frances McDormand for Nomadland.
Man, another great performance, man.
Yeah, really well done performance overall.
Especially after that last, was it last year? I don't know if it was last year or the year before that when she got nominated for the
three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah, and like I said, just. Her performance in this, I thought, was just fantastic.
I thought it was a good performance overall.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good performance. It was her too who came to the director who wanted to do the story. She was the one who wanted to do this film.
And she shows somebody, because once again, this is somebody who doesn't have a lot of lines. She has an emphasis a lot with how she looks, how she's acting,
her emotions, her deliverance, and
where she's like naked in the middle of the river, or where she's just lying there in the house of David Strahan's kid's place.
Yeah.
Just, you can tell, it's like, she doesn't need to say much. You don't need to know much. What you need to know is this like who's living life as a nomad.
And especially with her interactions with the other nomads, where you're like, she shows the interest she's like learning from them. She's just, her deliverance is just all that.
And she's not sad, she's not depressed at all. She's just going out and living life to where she wants, because she does, it's one of the better speeches she has in the film. She does talk about how there was a time where the reason she didn't move anywhere is because like her whole life was in that small town.
Yeah, small little town where the factory was and stuff like that, where everything was surrounding this one factory, but then when everything went to the shit, it's like that's the only place she really knew.
And it's the main reason. It's like you can tell that's the main reason she just wants to live as nomads, because she just wants to experience everything besides just settling down.
Yeah.
Because she's already done that for majority of life. She's settled down. She's not. Yeah. She wants to move on. She wants to go.
That's where I like how they kind of even by the end of the film they kept it hanging where you don't know if she's wanting to go back to the guy's offer or she's gonna keep traveling. It's all there.
I think they did. I think the ending was basically just emphasizing where she came from, and the ending where she just walks off off shot.
She was finally letting go of of what she was holding on to from within that.
Yeah,
town.
that scene where she finally sells the rest of the stuff she has in storage to just saying goodbye. It was basically that last shot.
It was her
and she did it with great about her brother. She didn't need to say anything. You saw that. She already told
and her body language and her expressions, it's like you could tell.
And throughout the film, you've been told where she said it or didn't say. You can tell.
You knew what she was thinking.
You knew where she was going. You knew what she was thinking. Like why she didn't want to stay at David Strahan's kid's place. Why she didn't want to settle down at her sister's place.
Oh yeah.
Why she didn't her entire life, and Frankenstein showed that. We didn't need to see all of her entire life to that. She explained it and she showed us.
Oh yeah.
In her performance, why she does what she does as a nomad.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, some of the people Frankenstein talked to were actual nomads too.
Yeah, so it's like this her expressions, her interest. It was just like so fascinating the way she was just like, this is so interesting. You see why she wanted to do this film.
Yeah. Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman.
Man, that's her performance.
You know what's funny? Every Carey Mulligan role I've ever seen, she's playing the mom to somebody, she's playing the sweetheart, she's playing every role you expect Carey Mulligan to play. This was the most out-of-box role Carey Mulligan has ever played. Mm-hmm. This is somebody who lost the one person who knew her.
Yeah.
Who knew who she was.
Yeah, she lost pretty much somebody she considered a sister, the bestie in the world.
You knew what her objective was from the moment she started talking. You knew what her mission was.
Her expressions, her attitude towards everything, you could tell she was like, I'm sticking to this goal until I find my end goal, which she finally did.
She was on this mission. She didn't, she was very determined animated tsundere, which was like hard outer shell, soft inner, soft on the inside. Mm-hmm. And we got that when she met Ryan. We did get to see that person does exist inside of her. Mm-hmm. But, of course, later when we find out about Ryan, we see her switch back. But the thing is, it's not like she instant switches back. No, she feels that betrayal. She shows you that betrayal. She not only feels it, or you actually don't feel it or something like that. You see it. You see that betrayal. You start to see
it build up on her, and you see it.
Then literally the next scene, she's back to where she was in the first half of the film.
Yeah, she's back to
hard shell. On a mission.
Yeah, she's back on a mission, things like that. Because it's like, that she eventually, that's what I liked about her character is that.
And it wasn't that she was a bitch majority of the time. You can tell there was little bits here and there, like with her friend in the coffee shop, with her.
It's like it showed pretty much where she had her barriers down at some moments.
Where her scene with Alfred Molina, mm-hmm. There's a moment. She's a normal person, but. Because of what happened to her or what happened to her friend in medical school, it turned her into this.
And like I said, I just love that transition where it's like there's that certain point where, when they were telling her, it's like this, especially the girl's mother when she's like, just let it go, move on, please.
You can believe she convinced 40 plus motherfuckers to get their shit together.
Yeah.
The way she treated them, like when we saw when she encountered McLovin, pretty much. Yeah, the way she broke his ass down.
Yeah.
When she got confronted by Ryan when she was going out with with the other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like when she didn't have to chop off his dick, but she metaphorically did.
It's like what I liked about her character is that she really knew how to get into the head of a guy, pretty much. Literally, like how to mentally mess with them, pretty much, of like who to really show who they truly were, and she did that,
encountering the man responsible for all of it.
Yeah, it's like where she finally gets what she needed to, and she knew that if she was not coming back, it's like she already had something set in place to where it's like that, nobody was gonna escape from it.
And we were talking this before we started recording, was the scene where she confronts Ryan after the revelation. She sees Ryan, and while he's writing down information she needs for, you can tell on her face she's in that mode, but you can tell on her face she feels betrayed.
Yeah, she feels betrayed. She feels
she opened up to somebody for the first time in forever.
This was the first time she actually. Was finally, she let her barriers down. She was like, you know what, let me just move on like everybody's been telling me to. And just when she does that, she feels, like you said, that betrayal, you see this come to her face, and you just feel it like oozing off of her, where it's just like, enough's enough. I'm not gonna take, I'm not doing this anymore. It's time to move this forward. It's time to move on. Let me get my final revenge. And she does that. And it's like you said, she does a phenomenal job. And like you said, between all these actresses, like I said, it was so difficult top race.
So the top three, from what I was reading on the 5 sites I used, was the top 3 were Carey Mulligan, Frances McDormand, and Viola Davis. Not in that order, but those were the 3. It was split, but I have to go with the film I did see. So in my case, in the films I did see, I'm going to go with Carey Mulligan. I know you went with Viola Davis.
I'm going to go with Viola Davis, only because just from what I've seen from clips and stuff like that, she's really delivering this character.
I think what made me choose her over, because I had between her and Frances McDormand, obviously. I think what made me choose her over Frances McDormand is Frances McDormand is great, but I've seen her do that typecast, not that typecast, but that kind of performance for it with 3 Billboards. Not as heavy on the swear words and the attitude, but still that kind of performance. But Carey Mulligan, this is the first time I've seen this actress go completely out of the box from what she's normally been seen in, and do a fucking phenomenal job in that overall. Just a great job, and Carey Mulligan clearly showed that. Yeah. And that's why my pick is Carey Mulligan.
Now, I chose, like you said, what I was trying to say is that, for Viola Davis, I've seen some of the clips with her and him and stuff like that, and she really plays into the character, of this real life character who's just trying to make it, trying to push to make it, trying to get her voice heard and things like that. And she plays the role beautifully. The performance, the singing, and especially the moments she has with Chadwick Boseman, it's like they bounce off of each other so beautifully. And for, like I said, these are from clips I've watched and things like that. And like I said, I have to go with Viola Davis. I feel like, she dominated that role, and it just to see her win, it'd be awesome to see. This is awesome because, like I said, I think her performance is probably fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. I'm still going to watch the film later this weekend, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to, once I'm done watching the film, I'm going to be like, I made a right choice on this one.
So for next up is Best Director.
Best Director, yes, or directing. Usually this leads into Best Picture because whoever. Normally, usually who wins Best Director usually wins for the Best Picture lots of times. So this leads all into one. But it started off with Best Director, which is another round. I don't have the names here. Let me see if I can bring up the names. I had it up here just a moment ago for Best Director.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. So we have Thomas Vinterberg, Another Round.
David Fincher, Mank.
Lee Isaac Chung, Minari.
Sorry, looking. Okay, Chloe Zhao, Nomadland.
Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman. So we've already seen.
Sorry.
You've already throughout you've already seen what we thought about the movie, stuff like that. I think these ones are a little bit quicker.
This was great about the last 2 categories. We've already talked enough about all these films.
Where it's like we can just jump right into
Another Round. Neither of us saw.
Another Round I did see, and
okay, thank you. Okay,
it is a great film. It is
talk a bit about it.
No, it is a good film. It's just them trying to do an experiment.
Because I don't
deal with alcohol because we did a reaction to this.
Wait. No, seriously, is this that same film?
It's that same film with Matt Nicholson.
Where they're testing out if they can do low alcohol to get them through the day?
Yes.
Seriously?
That was nominated.
Wow.
And it was a good film. It was really good. He had good comedic moments. Matt Nicholson was fantastic in this film. By far my favorite scene in the film was just there's a scene in there where he's partying and drinking stuff like that, and it just. That's the one scene everybody's talking about going, that scene, Matt Nicholson really sells it, and he is having so much fun. Wow. But like I said, that film was good. I really enjoyed it. It was a good entertainment film. Because it's also nominated in international feature.
That's what I'm looking up. I wanted to see if you agree with the odds-on favorite. Yeah, it's odds-on favorite too.
Yeah, it is. And believe
based
me,
on the 5 websites I use.
I haven't seen the other international films, but that's the one I really like. Was like, I see why people are talking about it. But
Cool.
like I said,
Awesome.
that film was good. But I can see why it got directing. But as a film as a whole, I was like, I definitely will see. I really hope for it. I really do.
So Mank was done by David Fincher, but as we already know, the script was done by his father.
Yeah.
So basically, he was taking his father's work and
his father's idea and concept.
It was adaptation inception. He was adapting an adaptation of a true story, but it was also an adaptation of his father's work.
Yeah, well, he wanted to continue.
It's David Fincher, so I know there's some people out there who think this is one of his weaker films. It's still good, but one of his weaker films.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough David Fincher films. Like, he did like Seven, Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal. I know those are, like I said, a lot of stand-up films. I've heard this is one of the weaker ones, so I mean, say what you will, but I still thought it was a good film. I think he did a good job as director. Yeah. Minari, I guess this is pretty quick. So
again, this guy again, because I saw the guy's acceptance pretty much. He did this pretty much because he kind of grew up the same way, where it's like him and his family believed in the American dream, and he actually did this film for his daughter, showing her, about what it was like for people trying to live that dream, that American dream, trying to bring in the money, trying to like live that day-to-day basis, stuff like that, and and I could really feel it, in his directing style, as well as like the way he delivered just everybody's like lines and just what everybody was going through in this film. And like I said, he did a good job. Honestly, that's what I thought pretty much for him.
So we're doing bad back first. So I'll go with me now for Nomadland. You said it. The trivia thing now has me going like Chloe Zhao, who, by the way, is directing an MCU film, Eternals.
Yes. But
you know how MCU works. The name only goes so far. But Chloe Zhao showed why she's still an amazing director regardless. Like, I didn't know about the whole, like, she actually got actual nomads to be part of the film.
Oh, yeah.
For one thing. And what else can you say? Like, she did an amazing job.
Frances McDormand came to her because she wanted her to do the film.
Does she explain why?
No, all I know is that Frances McDormand, I guess, just loved her work and pretty much saw potential in her and saw that, hey, I think
this is somebody who can bring my
vision to life. What I want to do, or at least what I want to turn this into.
It was like Frances McDormand provided the paint, and Chloe Zhao was the paintbrush.
In a way, yeah.
And put it all together, and it was painted to a beautiful portrait of the life of a nomad. Done really well. Promising Young Woman. What else can you say? I know I was looking around, people have been calling it like this year's Juno, pretty much. And I can see why. It's a unique take on a subject that doesn't get brought up a lot. So for Juno, it was teenage pregnancy.
Yeah, that's all.
And looking into the ups and downs of what that's going to take.
Yeah.
Here, this was a revenge film done beautifully well.
Yeah.
It's just done beautifully well. Like, a revenge film where you feel, by the end of the movie, you feel sad, but at the same time, you feel satisfied.
Yeah.
Because in some way, shape, or form, revenge was given throughout. Whether it was through something as simple as saying you kidnapped somebody's daughter, or something as more complicated as seeing one of the people you want to get revenge on break down literally in your lap.
Exactly, yeah.
It's easily one of my favorite scenes, the Alfred Molina scene. Yeah. And it conveyed so well this woman's mission. The fact that this woman is not a bitch. There's a hardcore reason she's doing it. She's treating the people around her the way she is in her life, and the way she felt so destroyed by somebody she thought she could trust. And this movie perfectly did a revenge film that, for a genre that knows how to do it. And the director of this film, Emerald Fennell, clearly showed that this is a subject that should be brought more often, because it happens more often than you think.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like with Juno, it brought more about teenage pregnancies. This one brought more about, hey, there's these assholes out there. And if you're not careful, you could be one of these victims.
Yeah, exactly.
And it didn't sugarcoat it either.
You like Promising Young Woman, I guess, because it's like you took forever on that one.
Oh, no, it's mainly because I mainly saw it recently, so I have a lot of it fresh in my mind still.
So who did you choose?
Nomadland.
Same here.
Nomadland. When I told you I accidentally wrote on my ballot earlier today,
Yeah.
I already had the first two I chose was Best Picture and Best Director.
Yeah.
So for me, I chose Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
Okay. And now, the one we've been waiting for.
Not really.
Not really, yeah. But Best Motion Picture.
So the nominees are
The Father.
Judas and the Black Messiah,
Mank.
Minari,
Nomadland.
Promising Young Woman,
Sound of Metal.
The Trial of the Chicago 7. Okay, so we're going to go over this quickly because we've already emphasized...
Please make it quick, especially...
I know what time it is. I know I am well...
I'm not talking about the time. I'm just saying make it quick, David.
So, Father, basically, we're going to break down what we said. We'll go back and forth on this, pretty much.
Oh, boy.
No, basic breakdown of our overall thoughts. Because we won't agree on all these. So, The Father, like we said, an amazing adaptation of a play brought to life what it really means, not only for somebody suffering through Alzheimer's, but also people having to experience somebody, a loved one, going through that as well, through all the ups and downs of it, ultimately leading to an ending that is just, it's not a happy ending. It's just a real reality, facts of life kind of ending of how it ends, of how this winds up for everybody in the long run.
Judas and the Black Messiah, pretty much. We dive into pretty much just a man who we dive into the world of these two men, pretty much. One who is starting a revolution, who's trying to make sense of what's going on with the world and how they're being treated, not just one race but all races. And you have a man that's pretty much just trying, who needs to take him down, but doesn't, starts to feel and understand where he's coming from, and pretty much the message is trying to deliver on how pretty much we treat people and stuff like that, or even people that are trying just to deliver a message, and how much how far you can go before it takes over.
Mank, basically. It's a perfect way of saying what it's perfect. It was a perfect encapsulation of what Hollywood was back then, shown through the eyes of the guy who eventually wrote Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Done beautifully, performed amazingly by the likes of Lily Collins, Amanda Seyfried, the guy from Iron Fist whose name escapes me, and of course Gary Oldman. Perfectly done, perfectly encapsulated, and you really understand why he wrote Citizen Kane by the end of it.
Yeah. Minari is just a family trying to live the American dream. Asian American family, pretty much, who pretty much have lived in the States for a while, but now they're trying to grow their own roots, grow their own crops, and try to live that American dream during that time. And just to see the struggles they are going through just to try to live and to succeed that dream.
Nomadland. It's the best way of showing the world without this being a documentary of what it's like to live as a nomad. Not only getting stories from real life people, from real life nomads, but as well as showing Frances McDormand, showing what life is like for the average everyday nomad.
Yeah.
Frances McDormand does a great job. David Strahan does a great job. I didn't bring him up a lot. I brought him up a few times, but I think he's another good performance in this role as well. Not a lot of actual big name actors, but he does a great job. I'm getting to the last part, but of course, we already brought up before, amazing cinematography as well.
Promising Young Woman, the perfect type of revenge story, pretty much on a woman trying to get revenge for what happened to her friend back in college. And
as well as getting justice for those other women as well. Go on.
Mind if I finish?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, what he said.
Sound of Metal. Basically, okay, so honestly, this would be my number 2 pick.
We haven't got to the picks yet. We're just trying to get through the nominations.
No, I'm emphasizing that.
I understand that. Just get to the.
If you stop talking, I can get to it. Sound of Metal, really good. What else need to say? It's a perfect encapsulation of not only addiction, but also a great way, because we don't bring up best sound, but it was not only a great way of emphasizing addiction, a unique kind of addiction, but also emphasizing what it is like for those not only losing hearing, but flat out don't have their hearing anymore, or try different ways of bringing back that hearing they want back so much in this, and it shows here, honestly.
Trial of the Chicago 7. Pretty much we're seeing people that are just trying to protest in a peaceful type of way, but showing how much sometimes the other force of things or other end of things can fight back or force to make them look like the bad guys, when actually they're just pretty much playing the parts. You see, you have great performances from Eddie Redmayne, from Sacha Baron Cohen, even Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You have great shots. You have great development for these characters, and it's just a story about people coming together, trying to help stop a war, but also try to, what we go through every now and then, pretty much, which is just, the people that we want to help run our country, or at least help try to understand what is going on with our country.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those.
Yeah.
So, who would you pick?
My overall pick is normally lots of times the director leaves into the motion picture about the same lots of times, and of course it's Nomadland.
Yeah, same here, Nomadland. It's hard to agree. All the other
content, it's like everybody all over the place is talking about it, and I also have to agree.
But some people say there's a tiny chance Minari may take it instead, but we'll have to see on that.
That is a very.
But number two, my second choice would have been Sound of Metal. My third would have been Chicago 7.
Yeah, I think for me it would have been the Trial of the Chicago 7. It would have been my second. So, but
there you go, folks.
Those are nominees. Like I said before in the beginning, if you make it up to this point where we're rambling on sometimes, but was it all of our other picks will be shown after, pretty much at the end of here, at the very end, so you can see what we chosen to see if they match up to what you choose.
And how split we actually were in everything overall.
How split possibly where we're going to be or are in our picks for this year's nominations. And if you don't already know, if you're new to how we do things, on the night of, we will be, if you follow us on Twitter, go click that link or go to Twitter, follow us. You can follow pretty much who's winning on the picks, who's leading in the picks so far. I think you said this is our third year doing the Oscars.
This is our third year. Unfortunately, I will not be a part of the whole live tweeting.
I'll be doing the live tweeting, keeping up, the tracking while he's doing working on.
He'll be live tweeting congratulations to the winners, as well as moments throughout the night as well.
Doing my best to keep up with a lot of it, because I'm not. Even though he's more on Twitter than I am, I do my best to try to keep up with it. But also, we keep track of, again, like I said before, pretty much who's winning in the in our picks.
And also keeping score as well. That's the last
keeping score since this. I think the first few years, I've won, or we've taken both.
We would have to dive deep into our Twitter account, Twitter account, to find that out.
Yeah, to find it out. But I honestly think I've won these past 2 years, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll take another third year. Keep it going. Keep chugging along.
I don't think you won last year, or one of the years you didn't win. I don't remember.
Was it the first year that I didn't win, or
I think the first we would so we have.
We'll have to double check. But anyways, yeah, those are our predictions. Those are our thoughts. And I hope, if you guys have any thoughts or anything like that down below.
Fun fact, I didn't know there was another Pinocchio adaptation until I read the nominations list. But, So other than that, folks, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button. If you want to talk to us more about stuff like this, comment down below. If you want to share us around, share it around. And if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about that Golden Boy in Hollywood award show, I lost track. Hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Again, put down what you thought of our picks, your thoughts on these movies and stuff like that. If you haven't seen them, but your thoughts on the nominees, and will we have a historical night pretty much and have a full sweep with a lot of the awards going to a lot of our African American actors, stuff like that, or some of the the other culturally based ones, pretty much. Or we're gonna have a good sweep of those. Do you want that to happen? I wouldn't mind having that happen. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
That would be something historical to see happen. And, you know, but put down what you guys thought of our picks. Do you have different picks than ours? Do you have a reason why you chose this or another? Especially once you see at the very end, what our picks are for the rest of the categories. But also again, if you made up to this point as well in our not reaction but more our picks, we thank you for watching.
And of course, guys, like we said, stay tuned Sunday for my brother's live tweet reactions to the Academy Awards.
Yes.
But until next time, folks, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has been a very tuxedo-wearing filled episode of SRB.
See ya.
Later. Enjoy it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out any of our previous reactions,
As well as one of our other SRB shows.
check out one of the playlists down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
You can find us on Twitter and Stardust,
at Super React Bros.
as well as on Facebook.
At Super Reaction Bros.